I can just
Hello,
say that
everyone.
my
Thank
credit
you
hours
for
I'm a
joining
senior.
us.
So.
My name is Grayson. I am a volunteer facilitator with MOACAC. Welcome to the virtual college exploration for all Missouri students, sponsored by the Missouri Association for College Admissions, Counseling, and StriveScan. Thanks again for joining us. Just a few housekeeping items before we get started. You can use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen to ask questions to our presenters at any time. Your camera and microphone are off, so they will not be able to see you or hear you. This is just one of the many different sessions happening, so be sure to check out the full schedule at moacac.org. This presentation is being recorded and will be available within about a week at the same website, moacac.org. Now I'd like to turn it over to our presenters.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you, Grayson. Thanks for getting us started. I am going to share my screen when she stops sharing her screen in a minute, and we will get going. But my name is Samantha. I am based in St. Louis, and I work with students all over Missouri, kind of outside of the Kansas City metro area. I'm going to have my friends on the screen introduce themselves too, and start with Kaylee.
Hello, my name is Kaylee Sundin, and I'm another admission representative. I work with students mainly in the Kansas City area, so the KC Metro, including that on the Missouri side. I graduated from K-State in December 2016, my degree in journalism, mass communications, and a minor in leadership studies. Sydney.
Hi everyone, my name's Sydney. I am a junior at K-State studying marketing and finance, and I'm actually in Manhattan right now, so just happy to tell you all about where I am.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Kaylee and I are going to give kind of the more formal presentation and tell you a little bit more about K-State, and then at the end we're going to ask Sydney some questions that help you kind of understand a little bit more about K-State, but I will get us started. So for those of you that might not be as familiar with K-State, I want to just start and give you an overview about this school that we all love so much. But K-State is a four-year public research university located in Manhattan, Kansas. For context, it's about 2 hours west of Kansas City, 4 hours past Columbia, 6 hours past St. Louis, 4 hours up from Springfield, kind of a good distance. We call it a good distance from home that is traditionally going out of state for all of our students from Missouri, but just not too far away. On the screen, you can see that we have 22,000 students on campus, but an 18-to-1 student-to-faculty ratio. K-State could really be a good fit for you if you wanted a really large kind of public diverse school experience with things like top-ranked academic programs, students from all over the world, opportunities to do research, an incredible sports team. If you did not watch K-State's major win over OU this past weekend, you should. It is worth the watch. All of those great things, but in a smaller kind of classic college town experience. It is a very spirited town. Everyone is wearing purple literally at all times. We love our school. The town loves Manhattan, the town loves the school and the school loves the town, all of that good stuff. And you will not be lost in the crowd. I think that's one of the most unique things about K-State is that it is such a large school, but you always really feel like you are well known, you know your teachers, you have a great group of friends, all those kinds of things. It's really unique for such a large school experience. On the screen, you can see a couple of the things that we're most proud of too. First being that we have the highest starting salary in the state of Kansas and a 97% job and graduation placement rate. What that means is we are giving our students real world experiences that are helping them land jobs or go to grad school really quickly. 97% of our grads are doing those things within 6 months of graduation. That is an incredibly high rate, and we are super proud that students that come to K-State are getting great experiences and being able to land these awesome opportunities after college, because that's what you should be doing. College should prepare you for the real world and give you all those chances. You also see things on the screen like #1 in happiest students, #4 in best town school relationship, #3 in best health services, all those things. Those are all ratings done by the Princeton Review, which is our absolute favorite rating because the Princeton Review is a national scholarship of students from across the nation. You see rankings all the time and you're always like, what do those things mean? We are proudest of our Princeton Review rankings because they are voted on by active college students and their opinions matter, and they rated us the happiest students in the country. So we know that if you were to choose K-State, if you were to look into K-State, you would really enjoy your time in college, but also just have a really high quality experience. So I'm going to start a little bit by talking about some of the academic opportunities that we have for you at the university. We offer 250 majors and 50 minors to choose from, and that is a lot. So we have a couple different ways for you to explore all of our academic opportunities. So I'm going to show you what some of those look like on our website right now. So when you go to our website, k-state.edu/academics, you find a couple different resources when it comes to deciding on majors, looking at programs, things like that. If you know exactly what you're interested in, you can start in this middle button, and it walks you through all of our degrees. Undergraduate degrees, you can click that button and explore all of our 250 programs and dive in a little bit deeper. If you know what you want to do, that is a great place to start. If you're not sure where you want to start, you kind of have a couple different options. All of our 250 degrees are broken up into what we call interest areas. They are a great place to start if you kind of have a feeling towards a field that you might be interested in, but either don't know what to major in, can't decide what to major in, want to know what else is out there, things like that. So you can explore interest areas. If you knew you wanted to be in something like business, you can click on that interest area and look at some of the good fit descriptions as well as different degrees that might interest you that you might not even know are out there. And if you wanted to do the same thing, you could do that with health professions. If you knew you were interested in something in the medical field but weren't exactly sure what that looked like, that can be a great place to start. We love those because you don't have to have it all together in the beginning. You do not have to know what you want to study. The majority of students at K-State will come in with a declared major, and a good majority of them will end up changing their major. I see a lot of nods from Kaylee and Sydney. I changed my major multiple times at K-State. A lot of people do. So whether you come in knowing what you want to do, you can do that, and that's awesome, or you can do some exploring from the beginning. The last option we have for academics, not ready to choose a major. Like I said, you can choose a major when you come to the university, but you don't have to. We have some great career exploration tools that are available to you online while you're in high school or while you're thinking about transferring that you can take advantage of by taking things like career assessments, exploring different opportunities, things like that, as well as start in our open option program. Our open option is kind of like our exploration degree. So it doesn't mean you can graduate in there, but you can start in that program and be in it for up to 2 years at K-State. It's our way of letting you kind of safely explore different things that interest you. You can try out different classes, be in different programs, while all staying on track to graduate in 4 years. So it's really important to us that we want your time while you're at K-State to be well spent and that no classes are wasted or anything like that. But we want to give you that opportunity to try different things and figure out kind of what's the best fit for you. So last thing I wanted to mention too are some of our most popular programs for students from Missouri. If you wanted to look into them, I did mention business before. Our direct entry business program is one of the best in the country. It's consistently ranked as in the top 30 for the best business schools to hire from. Pre-vet and vet med continue to be very popular. We have the 8th oldest and the number 4 ranked vet program in the country, as well as, of course, engineering because of our 12 undergraduate ABET accredited engineering programs, offering specializations in really awesome fields like cybersecurity, aerospace, sensors, devices, all sorts of things under the sun. So no matter what you're interested in, K-State will probably have a good fit for you. I'm going to pass it over to Kaylee now.
Thanks, Sammy. I know that academics is one big factor in your college decision process, but so is going to be what are you doing outside of the classroom? What things can you get involved in? I know that was one thing that was really important to me, especially as someone who wasn't quite sure what I wanted to study, but what opportunities were going to help me in that area. So at K-State, there's lots of different ways to get involved. We have 500 clubs and organizations. So I know that sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. But you're going to have clubs within all majors at K-State. So for example, as a public relations student, I was in Public Relations Student Society of America, which is a very long name, but it allowed me to tour different companies in the Kansas City area. It allowed me to take part in professional development activities. They were always bringing people to campus. So just really good opportunities there. There's going to be different religious groups, multicultural groups, honoraries. There's kind of miscellaneous fun clubs like squirrel watching or skydiving. So there's literally a little bit of everything. The first week of school, they're going to have an activity fair where you can walk around and talk to the different clubs and organizations and learn more about what is it like to get involved with student government or the club soccer team, whatever it is there. So they do a good job of letting you explore your options, and you can really jump in right away your freshman year. I know many clubs that I was involved in at K-State, a lot of them I started my freshman year, like yearbook, and getting involved with my academic college, the College of Arts and Sciences. We are a research institution, so there's plenty of research opportunities, and that goes beyond white coats and goggles. I know in high school, I thought it was strictly sciences I got to do research, but research is available in all majors. And a lot of our students are presenting at national conferences, and they get their research published as an undergraduate. So that's just an amazing opportunity to dive deeper into your studies, but also if you're wanting to continue your education. A lot of times you get free travel with that too. If you are going to these conferences, I had one friend who presented in Hawaii, which I thought was the best location to present research. If you like traveling too, you can study abroad in 85 different countries. I know this is the one thing I regret the most about my K-State experience is that I did not study abroad. And the nice thing is that you do pay in-state tuition when you do study abroad, being from Missouri. So we have faculty-led trips, which could be 10 days to 3 weeks, where you get to go with a professor and your classmates, so like a really awesome field trip, or you can go for a whole summer or semester. We actually have a campus in Orvieto, Italy, so that's one of our most popular programs. About 20% of our students are involved in fraternity and sorority life, so that's another great way to get plugged in further to campus and get involved and get connected with a philanthropy. We have a lot of community service opportunities within that, and then also some additional clubs. But in this picture, you're going to see Bill Snyder Family Stadium. So one of my favorite places to be at in Manhattan. This picture was taken last year. We have about a quarter of the fans are allowed in the stands right now. So a little different, but I'm still excited to have our student section there. Yeah, so I definitely recommend, even if you're not too interested in sports, at least going for the atmosphere because it's one of a kind. I know Saturdays in the fall are committed to football for me, even now as an alumni. And then also when you're kind of thinking about moving to K-State, calling it home, where are you actually going to be living? We do not require students to live on campus their freshman year, but I highly recommend it. It's just such a great way to get plugged in. I know I did not really know anybody coming to K-State, so that's how I made most of my friends. And also the food is really, really good, so that's always a big bonus. I definitely gained some weight freshman year from it, but that is okay. It was worth it. But on this page for seniors, you're going to see kind of the steps to take to live in our residence halls. So now if you've applied and been admitted, you can fill out our interest form, which basically says, hey, I'm interested, and that's about it. It's going to pre-populate some information into your contract, and the contract is kind of the big step for housing. This will open December 7th at 3 p.m., and the sooner you submit your contract, the sooner you get to actually pick your residence hall, your floor, down to your very room number. And you won't select this until April or May, but the sooner you do it in December, the sooner you'll get to select then. If you are also looking for a roommate, we have a program called Room Sync, which is awesome. I know, like I said, I didn't know who I wanted a room with when I came to K-State, didn't really know anybody. And so this program allows you to fill out a questionnaire and get connected to students with similar interests. You can chat with them. So it's just a really good way. If you want to room with someone new, but also want to have a little bit control over who you're rooming with too.
Cool. Well, we know along with all those things, it's really important to talk about the finances and what it looks like to pay for your education. So we want to talk about some different ways that students do that. So our largest, most popular way that students pay for school at K-State are through our general university scholarships, and I'll go into more detail with them on the next slide. But the number one thing you need to know, and what I will continue to say throughout this presentation, is to get your application in if you are a senior by December 1st. That's our priority date for scholarship consideration. What that means is your application has to be fully submitted by December 1st to be eligible for our scholarships. Now, our scholarships, one of them does have a test score requirement, and we know that getting a test score right now is a little bit tricky, and we allow students to send test scores throughout the senior year all the way up until April 30th. So you do have a little bit more time to go in and submit that test score, but you want to make sure you apply by our December 1st priority date. After you apply and are admitted to the university, you can apply through something called our KSN. The KSN holds 100% of all of our other scholarships at the university. It is one central application, super easy for you to use. That is open through March 15th. You're able to go online, apply for any kind of random scholarships that the university might be offering, things from your particular academic program or college, or anything else that might trigger from your application. But you want to make sure that you do that. It is an additional step, and you don't want to forget to have that done by March 15th. The free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA, opens up actually on Thursday, on October 1st, and our priority date, just like for scholarships, is December 1st. You're able to go in and fill that out with some tax information and hopefully get some government, state, federal, local money that will help you pay for school, loans, grants, things like that, that will help additionally add into your wallet and paying for your academic program. But thinking about all of that, we wanted to give you some of the numbers of the cost of attendance. On the screen, you see our in-state cost of attendance is $22,000, and we'll talk about why that's important in a second. And our out-of-state is $37,000. That is the complete average of a traditional living experience, traditional food, and a full-time class load. So that's kind of what you're looking at. If you weren't able to apply any scholarships or bring in any kind of money on your own, that's what you're looking at. So want to talk about the 2 scholarships that we have for incoming students who are coming in the fall of next year. We are super, 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 super excited about these things. One of these scholarships is new and kind of just launched within the past 2 weeks or so, and that is our Missouri Tuition Match Program. That is our in-state qualifying tuition scholarship. So students who apply to K-State by December 1st, our favorite day of the year, with a 3.25 GPA and at least a 22 on the ACT or 1100 SAT will qualify to receive in-state tuition. So looking back on the page before, your cost of attendance will go from $37,000 to $22,000. That is huge. That is one of the best financial situations you can put yourself in if you're a student that's wanting to go out of state. That is a great way to do that, and it is automatic with those scores as long as your application is in on time. So we are super excited about that, and hopefully a lot of you are interested in that and would be a good fit. Our other kind of large university scholarship available is our Heritage Award. That's for students whose parents or grandparents graduated from K-State, and all you have to have in that situation is a 3.0. So those are kind of our 2 large awards from the university. Anything else you could qualify for are all listed in our KSN. So you are able to stack KSN awards on top of that, as well as any local awards, things you win from your high school or your church or your community or anything like that. You can bring all of that in on top of these 2 awards, but you're only able to receive one of these awards.
Awesome. So now we want to talk about the next steps for you to become a Wildcat after hearing all of that. So the first one, like Sammy has mentioned, is applying by December 1st. And so at K-State, we are test optional. So to be automatically admitted to K-State, you need either a 3.25 GPA or a 21 on the SAT or 1060 SAT. So I want to note that we are test optional to be admitted to K-State, but like Sammy had on the slides, that you do need a test score for that Missouri Tuition Match Program. So we still encourage you to take the ACT. We will accept those scores through April 30th. So you can apply now without a score and then send us your score later on. And then we would love to have you visit Manhattan so you can get the full K-State experience, see why K-State has the #1 happiest students in the country. And we do have a couple of options there. So at k-state.edu/visit, you can register to come to campus. And with that, you're going to get to meet an academic area, go on a campus tour with someone like Sydney, and then get to hear from an admission representative. And there's also optional add-ons like honors program or our Staley School of Leadership Studies that you can connect with as well. If you want to connect virtually first before you make the trip to Manhattan, you can do that as well. Those are being offered on Tuesdays and Thursdays right now, and those are an hour long where you get to connect with an academic area and get a brief little overview of K-State with that as well. So you can sign up for both of those options at k-state.edu/visit. And then all admission representatives are also hosting one-on-one sessions. So if you want to talk about your college search process. I know everyone's looking for different things and are wanting different things from their college experience. We can talk about those things and how K-State can help with that. So you can go to k-state.edu/find-your-rep to figure out who your representative is and then schedule a meeting from there.
Cool. Okay. Well, that was a lot of information, and we want you to process that and kind of think through that. But we want to invite our friend Sydney on screen to kind of talk about things from the student perspective. These are just some of her fun little pictures. And we're just going to kind of ask her some questions about her K-State experience. We can tell you a million different things, but I think hearing it from a student who's experiencing them all right now kind of will really help you get a better picture of K-State and a better idea of kind of what things look like right now. So Sydney, sorry, I put that you're a senior on the screen, but again, can you just kind of introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what you're studying, kind of basics about K-State?
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said earlier, my name's Sydney. I'm a junior studying marketing and finance. I'm from St. Louis. Up here on the screen, you can see some of my super fun memes from college. In the bottom left corner, I know Kaylee had mentioned being able to travel when you're part of different student organizations or research or something like that. That was actually my friend Maggie and I who presented with K-State Proud in Baltimore. So that was a totally school funded trip. That was super awesome. The top left picture is actually just from this weekend when we beat Oklahoma. You can see the pure joy. We were just super hyped after the game. The bottom right, another fun sports memory. That's actually the game where we beat KU at home a couple of years ago. Also super fun. And then the top right corner is when my family came and visited for family day freshman year. So yeah, super fun.
So fun. Cool. Well, tell us a little bit about why you chose K-State and kind of what that looked like for you.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually was a K-State fan all growing up. Both my parents went to K-State. And so I would go to all of our spirit days in grade school and high school, like decked out in my purple gear. Everyone in St. Louis is wearing their Mizzou stuff, but I was wearing my purple Proud. And then actually junior year of high school, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to, make my own decision, do my own thing. And so actually ended up applying to 15 different schools, did quite a few visits as well. So it was pretty interesting, just being able to see all of the different schools. And then in the end, I actually visited K-State 3 times. The first time I was like, nope, this is too good to be true. Like, I must have just had an incredible visit. Like, it can't be as great, as all like my parents and my cousins talk about. But then after the second visit, I was like, you know what? No, this is where I'm meant to be. And honestly, just the feeling you get when you walk on campus is unlike any other visit I experienced. And so definitely what ended up helping me decide in the end. And so, yeah, now I'm here in my 3rd year and absolutely loving it.
Awesome. Thanks, Sydney. I know you have on the slide, everyone can see all of the things that you're involved in, but what has been your favorite thing to get involved in? And can you talk about how easy or how did you get involved?
Yeah, for sure. So freshman year, I honestly only knew 3 people, or probably 4 maybe, when I came to K-State. So I wanted to get involved super quickly. So I went through primary Panhellenic recruitment, which is Greek life. And that was the first week before school started freshman year. So I met quite a few people that way, but then also ended up applying to different student organizations. And I know that Kaylee and Sammy talked earlier about the activities fair that happens at the beginning of the year. You get to go around and talk to all the different student orgs. And so that's actually when I discovered K-State Proud, which is now one of my most favorite organizations that I'm involved with. I actually this year get to be the K-State Proud, one of the co-chairs. And so K-State Proud is the largest student-run philanthropy on campus. In the past 15 years, we've raised $1.8 million to help fund students' education here at K-State. So it's such an incredible experience, and honestly just really helps me give back to the community that's given me so much, and just a great way to get involved. And obviously, as you can see on the side. Like, I'm involved in a whole variety of different things, and honestly, I think that that's one of the greatest things about K-State, is because if I was at a smaller school, you know, or one that didn't have as many opportunities, maybe I wouldn't have been able to see all of these different sides of the university. So it's been really awesome to be able to do that.
Yeah, like looking at some of the things you're involved in, I see some things that are kind of connected to like your major or things that you're studying. How did you choose your major and what did that look like for you?
Great story. So freshman year, I actually came into K-State studying nutritional science on the pre-med track. Obviously, that's not what my major is anymore. I found that in high school, I really loved math and science. And so I was like, oh, just naturally go into a career like that. You know, that is just kind of what I was led to in high school. And so after taking pre-med classes freshman year, I realized that like maybe not something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And so I went and talked to my advisor and just kind of talked things through. And she was like, honestly, it can't hurt to just try and take like one other class that's not in your pre-med courses just to see what it's like. And so she asked me about my other interests, and it was led to a marketing class. So I took Introduction to Marketing second semester freshman year, absolutely loved it, and then started taking more marketing classes sophomore year, and then ended up really enjoying that. And so then added a finance major as well, because I, like I said earlier, love the math side of it. And so, yeah, that's where I am now. And honestly, so many great ways to get involved within my major. So that's a lot of fun as well.
Love it. Sydney, kind of thinking from an out-of-state perspective, what was it like coming to K-State from Missouri, and what's one thing you wish you would have known as a high school senior with that?
Yeah, I think it was definitely, at least for me, I thought it was going to be challenging. I thought that I was going to be at K-State and thought that everyone from Kansas would know each other, which is so not true at all. I mean, if you think about it, like if you're from Kansas City, Missouri, or Columbia, or St. Louis, or Springfield, or wherever, you obviously don't know everyone in the town where you're from. Even if you're in a smaller town, you know, you probably don't know everyone at the different high schools or wherever. And so realizing that everyone was in the same boat was honestly a really great feeling when I got here. And then I know earlier, whenever they were talking about looking at residence halls and things like that, I decided to live in a residence hall. Great decision. I would highly recommend it. I actually found my roommate on Room Sync, and she is originally from Manhattan. And so she was able to show me the ins and outs, you know, where the best places to eat, what do you do? And I was actually able to meet some of her friends from her high school. And now I live in an apartment with one of her friends from high school. So like crazy how it all worked out. But it was just honestly such a smooth transition, and I could not ask for anything better.
Awesome. Well, I know one thing that a lot of students kind of have on their mind right now, and it's totally a fair question, but what is it like being a college student during COVID? What is it like being in Manhattan? Can you tell us a little bit about like your experience with classes and kind of how that's working right now?
Oh yeah, definitely something I was worried about, you know, coming to Manhattan. Obviously, I was really excited to get back and see friends, you know, and be on campus, experience the environment that Sammy and Kaylee talked so much about, like the community with the Manhattan area. But it's been interesting. So we actually do hybrid classes. Some of them are online, some of them are in person. But I think what's really great is if you do have some sort of hybrid or in-person class, the professors are really willing to work with you. Like if you don't feel comfortable going to campus, or if you need to self-isolate or quarantine or anything like that, you just shoot them an email and they're like, oh my gosh, I totally understand. That makes sense. And honestly, I think that that was really great to know, because definitely a huge worry, you know, we back at home, we were taking all of the guidelines super seriously. And so I was worried that like maybe coming back to school, people wouldn't be doing that as much. But I think it's been really great, because the K-State community has been described as a family, which I know can sound like really cheesy and corny, but I think with that, there comes a sense of like mutual respect, and people understand that wearing masks, washing your hands, you know, simple things like that can keep each other safe. And so I've definitely seen that a lot, especially on campus. So it's been really great.
kind of going off COVID and just knowing that seniors are facing that obstacle right now in their college search, what's one piece of advice that you'd give them as they try to select their college and future home?
Yeah, that's a great question. Honestly, if it was a normal year, I would say try and get on campus. And honestly, if you can still do that, I would really recommend it. I know that, there's a lot of different barriers to be able to get people to campus, especially during this time. But if you are able, I would really recommend it. It's what sealed the deal for me. And that's what I've heard about so many other students here at K-State as well, because it's one thing to look at schools on paper, and maybe you think you can make your decision like that, but it's another thing to actually experience the environment of the campus and, talk with students and see what they're passionate about, see what they're involved in, because I think you can really tell a lot about a university from those people. And I think that it's a great way to figure out where you want to spend your next 4 years. It's not like you're just going to school and coming home. It's like all in that one place. So you want to make sure that that one place you are is great. Also, at the same time, though, if you can't visit, totally cool. Don't worry about it. Reach out to your admissions rep like Sam and Kaylee. They can tell you so much, get you connected with some students. We do virtual visits. I work in often Office of Admissions and Recruitment, and we do a lot of virtual stuff. So honestly, just talking with students, great piece of advice right there.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're down to our last 2 questions. Fun questions, though. Tell us about, what do you think is your favorite K-State tradition and or memory? So you can pick either or both, but tell us about one of your favorites.
Okay, so this is actually a memory that wasn't on one of the pictures from my first slide, but so I know we just beat Oklahoma, a couple days ago in football, which was pretty incredible. But actually last year there was a home game, and it was like the homecoming game. My whole family was here, like my parents, my brother, my grandparents, cousins, like everyone. And we were obviously sitting in the student section, having a great time like normal. And we actually scored a last couple minute touchdown to seal the deal. It was incredible. We rushed the field, all the players, all the students, we were singing the alma mater. And honestly, just an incredible memory because it just felt so together in the moment. It was a huge victory. It knocked OU out of the college football playoffs. Not that that matters, but we were pretty proud of that. And so honestly, just a super fun environment. I always love those upset memories, like Oklahoma, KU in basketball. If you know what I'm talking about, you'll know how big of a deal that is. So yeah, just a really fun time.
Love it. All right, Cindy, to wrap it up, what do you think set K-State apart from all the other 15 schools that you applied to?
Yeah, great question. And honestly, I think that it comes down to, first of all, how I felt being on campus and feeling so welcomed. But at the same time, I wanted the opportunities of a large school, which is why I started looking at such big schools. But I also wanted to feel like I had the personal connections of a smaller school. And honestly, I feel like you can get the best of both worlds at K-State, which is something that I think is very unique to here. I think that I wouldn't have been able to easily transition from being a pre-med track to a double major in business and still graduate in 4 years without the resources here at K-State. And honestly, getting summer internships, things like that are such incredible resources that we have through the Career Center, or the College of Business has our own career development program. And so I think it's just things like that. Some people might call it the smaller things, but honestly, it's the things that make the biggest difference to students here. And you might be saying, okay, well, how can you have all those resources and still feel like you actually know your professors? I know on that first page, it showed the faculty to student ratio. And honestly, that's totally how it feels. I always tell this story because I think it's represents K-State and how the professors want to get to know you. So my very first class freshman year, I took an 8:30 on Monday mornings. I don't know why I did that, but I walked into class and it was honors chemistry. I was scared to death. And I sat down, and 5 minutes into class, our professor was like calling us out by name. Like he had memorized all of our names because he wanted us to feel welcome and feel comfortable enough to share our concerns and our questions and how we felt about class. And so it's like, this was my very first experience at K-State, and he was like, Sydney, and then asked me some chemistry question. I don't remember, but it was just really great to be able to see, like, he didn't have to go out of his way to memorize 85 students' names for the first day of class, but he did. And honestly, I think it was a great experience.
Shout out to you for taking a nice early morning chemistry class. You're a great class.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure. Cool. Well, that kind of wraps up all the questions that we had for Sydney. And I think, like we said earlier, I think that kind of gives you a cool perspective of what it looks like to be a student right now. And all of us graduated from K-State. Well, Kaylee and I graduated from K-State. Sydney's going to K-State. We love the university. You'll hear that from pretty much anyone that you interact with when it comes to K-State. That's kind of all the things that we have for you now. Like Kaylee said, we have tons of opportunities for you to get engaged with the university, whether it be coming on a campus visit, attending something virtual, or meeting with one of us one-on-one. And after the presentation ends, in a couple days, we'll follow up with you with links to register and get all of that done and get the ball rolling, because you want to have your application in by December 1st. So thank you for attending with us. That's kind of all that we have, and we are so glad that you came and spent just a quick hour with us.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to just share my screen with everyone again really quickly. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining us this evening. When you close this window, there will be a link to a very quick 4-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. Also, this is one of the many sessions being hosted, so be sure to sign up for additional sessions at moacac.org. Also, in about a week, you'll be able to find this session's recordings along with all of the other sessions being recorded at moacac.org. Thank you.